Do you love butternut squash? If you said yes, then we can be best friends. Hey everybody, and welcome to Cooking It Real. I'm Kathy, and I'm glad you could join me in the kitchen. Today, I'm going to use one of my favorite food characters, butternut squash. I love butternut squash since I was a kid. It used to be one of my very favorite vegetables, and it still is. And I love it when fall comes around and butternut squash is in every grocery store because I buy it whenever I can find it. I wish I could grow it, but sadly, not yet. What I want to show you today is one of my favorite ways to use butternut squash in a creamy butternut squash soup. The first thing I want to do is show you my vegetable ingredients. Of course, I have my butternut squash. I have some apples. I think these are ambrosia apples. I have onion. Today I'm going to use a Vidalia onion. You could use a regular yellow onion or a white onion. I've got 3 cloves of garlic, and once I take this off, it'll be about a tablespoon of thyme. Okay, so we're going to start. Oh, and then I have a quart of chicken stock, a can of coconut milk, and aside from some salt and pepper, that's about it. So this is a super easy soup. Let's get it going. All right, let me see how I'm going to tackle this today. Let's put these guys off to the side. We'll do the little things first. All right, I'm going to, because this thyme is already coming off the stem so well, I'm just gonna put it onto the plate. Now, how you strip the thyme is you take it from the top and you just run your fingers down and the leaves come off. Kind of. You might have to get fiddly with it. I think what I'm going to do is to get off the leaves that will come easily, and then I will tie the rest into like a bouquet garni that I will put in the pot and simmer with the soup. How's that sound for a plan? It sounds a lot easier, Kathy, than you standing here for 25 minutes trying to get every little thingy off of this. Yeah, that's good. Some of these will fall off too as it's simmering. Cool. I like it. All right, there's a couple empty sticks. Get my warm pile going. All right, let me get to the little string. It's always handy dandy to have some kitchen twine available. We're getting up to the holiday time. It's now the end of October, and we always use a lot of kitchen twine when we do our holiday roasting, whether it's a turkey or a pork roast or things like that. We always need some good twine. And I like to give it a nice long string so I can hang it over the end and fish it out easy. All right, you guys just all get in your own little pile. You can sit right here. I'm going to put you off to the side. And now we're going to get our garlic ready. Now this is the garlic that we grew in our garden. We just, this past week, planted all our garlic for next season. I think we have it seems like we have hundreds more than we did last year. So we'll see how it all turns out. We were so happy with our garlic harvest, but it didn't last us as long as we wanted it to. And even though we still have some garlic left from the garden, it's not going to keep us to the spring, that's for sure. So we'll be buying garlic. So we're hoping we can do a little better in this coming year. Now I'm going to give this just a nice chunky chop because we're going to be pureeing this soup when it's finished, pureeing it with an immersion blender. All right, and like I said, this is a Vidalia onion but you can use any kind of onion. But a Vidalia is a sweet onion, which I think in this case is going to work quite well because the apples are sweet, the butternut squash itself is sweet, and the whole soup has an air of sweetness, shall we say, which is really cool and something I really, really enjoy. I wanted to take care of all the other vegetables before I started with this bad boy because there's something about a butternut squash. Although I love them so, there's something about the flesh under the skin when you peel it. It makes my hands get all weird. It's kind of got like a little stickiness or something. I don't know. But I just feel better when I do the squash last. So it's really quite easy. You just have to use a vegetable peeler and get all the rind off the skin. That wasn't so bad. Now what I like to do is take off the top, the stem end. Don't need that. And then I go down to where the neck starts to flare out and cut it right about there. And if you have a big squash, you're going to need a good heavy-duty knife. Now for this recipe, which is about 4 to 6 servings, you need about a 2.5 pound squash to 3 at the most. This is 2 1/4. It's what I have, so that's what we're going to use. All right, we're going to put this guy aside. We're going to chop him up. It's all going to be beautiful. Now, inside this bulb is the seed cavity of the squash. So I'm just going to take it. I'm going to cut it in half like this. And here's the seeds. You see that? All right, and what you got to do, let me see, I got something right here. I have a little bowl, and I have my handy dandy grapefruit spoon, and I just use it because it has a serrated edge to scrape all the seeds out of the cavity. Now, if this was a pumpkin, I would save these seeds and roast them. I'm going to show you that in a video coming up real soon. So stay tuned for that if you're a lover of roasted pumpkin seeds. But if you have a big squash, these seeds are kind of dinky. So that's why I'm not going to save them. But the worms are going to love them. Or you can put them in your compost. All right. And if you don't have a serrated spoon, you just use a regular spoon. In it, you might have to use a little more elbow grease, but it's not gonna be anything too difficult. And put that off to the side. Now we still have a bit of an end here, so I'm just gonna make like a V cut and cut that little stem out on both of these bulb pieces. That's it. That's it. That's all going to go out. And now we just have to chop this up and get ready to cook. And like I said before, we're going to be blending all of this with the immersion blender. So you don't have to, cut it in any particular way because we're going to cook everything until everything is nice and soft. Now, how do you like your butternut squash? I always make butternut squash for Thanksgiving. And what I do is I just simmer it. And because that's the way my mom used to do it. And, you know, as years went on, I started doing things like roasting it and various things like that. But when it comes down to traditional days like Thanksgiving, you kind of always default back to the old standards, don't you? And I just put it in a pot with some water. My mom would use salt and pepper. I also add like garlic powder and onion powder. All right, now I'm going to take this down, right down the middle. And just watch your fingers. Beautiful. Turn each on its side, and we're going to cut it again in half. There you go. And then we're going to cut that in chunks, and then it is to the stove. We have our pot on medium. This is just a large saucepan. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You can add the oil of your choice. I'm going to give that a second to warm up, and then we're going to saute our onions until they're translucent. One way to tell if your oil is ready is just pop in a little bit of onion. If it sizzles like that, then you're ready. All right, now I'm going to try just to get the onion in at first. Give that a stir. That's getting there. We're not looking to brown this onion. We just want it to be translucent. Okay, that's pretty good. Now we're going to add our squash. And our apple. Give that a good stir. We're going to cook that for just a minute, and then we're going to add the garlic. And one thing we don't want to do is have the heat so high that the onion browns or the garlic browns and ultimately burns. Let me get my chicken stock, my coconut milk. All right. Now I'm going to add the garlic. I'm also going to add some salt and pepper. And that is to your taste. Probably about, not quite a half a teaspoon each. For me anyway, for my taste. All right. Now, we're going to add our chicken stock. And this is chicken stock that we canned together on a previous video. Smells delicious. Let me open this coconut milk first so we can put these in together. Ooh, yeah. Now, if you wanted to make this a vegetarian dish, you would omit the chicken stock, and you could use either plain water, you could use veggie stock, or you could even use apple cider. Think about that. That sounds good, doesn't it? Or you could do a mix of chicken stock and apple cider. And you want a whole can of coconut milk. This is a 13.5-ounce can. And you can usually find this in your Asian aisle, your international aisle, in your regular grocery store. Give that a nice good stir. Woo, splash, splash. All right, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna add our herbs, the thyme that I picked off, and not very much because I just was too lazy. All right, and I'm gonna take this bundle, I'm gonna stick it in like so, push it on down, and just let the string hang out. Be careful not to let the string, if you have a gas stove or even an electric stove, you don't want the string to get into the fire, or else you'll have more excitement than you planned on. Now I'm going to get a lid, we're going to put it on, we're going to bring that up and let it simmer until the squash and the apples are tender. Okay, I have had this at a good healthy simmer for about 12 minutes. Let's test and see if the squash is tender. Scoop out a good piece using my paring knife. Just stick it through. Oh yeah, it's totally ready. It's done. Let's turn it off. All right, we're going to give it just a minute to cool, and then we'll be back to blend. Okay, let's take out our bouquet garni. Thank you for lending all your flavor. And see what we got here. Oh, doesn't that look good? All right, now we got to blend it all up and make it into a nice creamy soup. Now, if you didn't want to use coconut milk, didn't have it, couldn't find it, didn't want it, you could always use heavy cream, half and half, something like that. Or you could make it a not creamy soup and just go with the squash and stock or cider or whatever. All right, here we go. Be very careful while you're doing this if it's hot still, because you don't want to hurt yourself with the splashes. You don't want to have any little ones or kitties or doggies like Miss Duchess here, who's meowing, running around in your kitchen. Be safe always. All right, let's see where we are for chunkiness. And you know, the level of smoothness is also up to you. Oh, I like that. That looks nice and creamy. Now I want to taste it for seasoning and see if we're ready to go. Let's see. Ooh, that's hot, but I think that's good. Oh, that's very hot. I could use just a little bit more salt. I mean, just a little. And I would err on the side of a little more pepper, because that is good stuff. All right. So now we're going to do the full-on taste test. And if I haven't invited you already, please give me a thumbs up on this video if you're enjoying it. And that just makes me able to be seen by a wider audience. And if you haven't, hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell. And then you won't miss a single episode. Right, let's dish this up. Let's see how it tastes. Ooh, what a pretty color. It's not quite as orange as butternut squash because of the apple and the onion, but look at that beautiful saffron yellow. Plate of some Parmesan sourdough discard crackers that I made not too long ago. That would make a nice little side. You could crumble some of that on the top. Let's see, what else can, oh, how about just a little bit more thyme? We could all use more thyme. How pretty. There you go. That's the creamy butternut squash soup. Now it's time to taste. Okay, you want to get in there before I taste? Come on. Good girl. Get all the way. Good girl. That's Duchess. If you're new here, that's my cat. All right, let's give this a taste. Ooh, it's hot. The bowl is hot. I'm going to have to put it on a little trivet for myself. Ooh. Oh, Duchess, hang on. 1 second. Oh, that's good. Are we best friends? We will be if you make this soup. This is amazing, and it is my dinner tonight. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope to see you again on the next Cooking It Real. And let me go get Duchess so we can both say bye. Hang on. Where'd you go? She's going around the other way. She's a hoot. So there you have it, friends. Absolutely delicious. I encourage you to give it a try, especially if you're a fan of butternut squash. Maybe we'll start a fan club. Till next time, see you again on Cooking It Real. Bye.